Welcome to our IMI virtual conference. On behalf of IMI, I would like to thank Greg and Fiona for their presentation topic, which covers motivating staff and how IMI contributes to making improvements to their business processes within their aged care facility. Motivating Staff Implementing IMI Care by Greg and Fiona Harding of the Alphington Aged Care Facility. Alphington Aged Care is less than 7 kilometres from the centre of Melbourne. It is a 45-bed hostel. It has developed a fine reputation for resident lifestyle and quality of care. The Alphington provides a home-like feel where residents are secure and comfortable within their private rooms, lovely gardens and stunning views. The Alphington has been owned by Fiona and Greg Harding for 2 years, and soon after their purchase they set about to upgrade the continuous improvement program. Once they started talking to Sonia, the CEO of IMI, there really was no choice. Now IMI is essential to the operation to their business processes.
Hi there, I'm Greg Harding and I'm the owner of Alphington Aged Care along with my wife Fiona. And welcome to our presentation at the ION virtual conference. What a great idea it is to be able to attend a conference like this at a time that suits you. No need to drive, no need to park, and none of those awkward moments where sometimes you need to turn to the person next to you and discuss something that the presenters just talked about. Now I'm talking to you today about how we use IONMI to manage and motivate our staff. But believe me, we are not experts in this regard, and don't for a moment think that we are setting the standard. But IONMI has helped us in this regard, and we would like to share with you as to what we've been doing. Firstly, it's improved our engagement with our staff. It's made our staff, we believe, feel more valued. It helps us to manage their staff credentials, helps us to manage staff performance reviews, and also helps to prepare reports that remind us and staff of their various obligations. So they're the points we're going to cover. Let's get right down to it. Okay, I think it's important that you know a little bit about the staff person at a personal level, and that would be things like the name of their children and their ages, their spouse's name and their job, and some hobbies. And these details should be put into the personal profile, which is in My Workforce under the User Defined section. Just a little bit of data there just to help you be able to spontaneously engage with staff when you meet them in the hallway. Just a word of warning on this, it's a public access area, so make sure you just put positive comments rather than anything that's negative. Now next, acknowledging staff birthdays and anniversaries of service is an easy way to help your staff feel valued. And make sure that you've got the birthday alert and the anniversary of service alerts turned on in the system. If you don't know how that works, well, I'm sure Chris would be happy to show you. And having these on, you will receive a message at a timing of your choice in relation to their birthdays and anniversaries of service. We also, in fact, send a little SMS message for happy birthday on the day. Yeah, okay, I know, a little bit tacky maybe, but it still has been found to be popular from the staff, and I've had a lot of comments on it. The important thing I think in both cases though is to follow up and make verbal contact and shake their hand and give them a kiss and a hug, etc. With the anniversary of service, we also do prepare a little written certificate that gets printed out and popped into their pigeonhole. So look, a couple of really easy ways there I think to help make your staff feel valued. Make sure you acknowledge birthday and their anniversary of service. Okay, managing staff credentials. Now I would say quite strongly that if you're not using IONMI to help you with your management of staff credentials, then I think there's a great opportunity to do so, because we've found it to be very effective, user-friendly and quite powerful. Its ability to send a reminder or an alert that somebody has their police check is coming due is really something that helps me sleep at night. We also use it to record staff orientation and induction. records all the various training, whether it's mandatory training or vocational training that staff do on a regular basis. It helps to keep a track of legal and OH&S and accreditation requirements, so we input the fact that people have got their police checks up to date, their first aid certificates are in order, manual handling's done, lifting machine accreditation and competency training, things like that. Along with our career development, things like the staff review, we actually have input each year's staff review as a credential, so I can see and others can see at a glance that the staff review has been completed for each year, and it just sends and we can send an alert to the effect that the staff review is due. So there's a lot to like about it. It can be expanded to be quite large, and yet it is still user friendly. So if you're not using the staff credentials and alerts process, it will help. I recommend you should. It'll help you manage all the paperwork and all the legislative requirements of keeping your staff trained, compliant, up to date and accredited. Now, further to how ION will help you with your staff performance reviews is the fact that it will primarily, if you have turned on the anniversary of service alert, as we discussed a little earlier, it's going to send you a message to let you know that your staff review is due. And that's important because, by golly, if there's something easy to overlook, and that it would be when somebody is up for staff review. And we go through that process. We sit down, or the supervisor sits down with the staff member, and often coming out of that there will be points for discussion, points for action, there'll be plans, there'll be training that the staff person would like to do, and really important now that gets entered into the system as an action with a follow-up date, so that it doesn't get lost. And this is where, again, ION really helps, keeps you accountable. It's got a much better memory than you or I, and it will allow you to follow up on that staff review, because there's nothing more deflating than to have a commitment made to a staff member at a review. It might just be a simple matter of going to do a particular training course, or getting a piece of, think they need a particular piece of equipment or apparel, and nothing gets done. Quite depressing, quite deflating. So get those outcomes of the performance review into action points, and then make sure they've got follow-up dates. If necessary, set them with recurring follow-up dates so that they keep reminding you, and then you'll have a happy staff member at the end of the year. Okay, just about there. Just the last thing to discuss is one aspect of ION Myer that I think is just terrific, and that's its ability to send a report to you that reminds you just whose credential has expired. For example, if someone's police check is out of date, well, you've got a problem because you've got a spot check, and somebody whose police check is not current, well, that is a problem. So the exception reporting gives you the ability to have an email sent to whoever you like at whatever interval you like, and it will advise the exceptions to the credential. In other words, who's out of date. And that can follow in police checks, CPR, staff reviews, induction, whatever area you would like. And that's a terrific thing, I think. So through the reporting function, you can get that set up. Chris will help you, I'm sure. We found it very useful, so I really would encourage that you would look into that. That's the end of my presentation. Thanks so much for suffering through it. I hope you might have found something that was useful to you. I'd really be keen to hear from you as to what you're doing that we're not doing, and how, if you find that useful, I would appreciate feeding back. But thanks again, and all the very best. Bye.
Once again, on behalf of ION My Care, we would like to thank Greg and Fiona for their wonderful presentation, and also thank our conference attendees for viewing all our presentations.